Good morning, good morning, good morning. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Chest one complete.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up.
All right, camera's looking good.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Time to get up and move your body. Radio's up. Chat is on. I'm trying to give subliminal messages. First Sky, let me whisper in your ear. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the Diaz.
Paul B, the Dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Trippy Red, a whole bunch of. We were talking about Reds this morning. A whole bunch of Reds. I forgot about Red Fox. I forgot about Detroit Red.
Shout out to Red Fox, man, the legend, the incomparable.
A whole lot of people named Red. I'm trying to find red names for us, but maybe not.
Nah, I'm cool. I'm cool being the God.
The guy, Buddi3 Da Gawd
man.
in the house.
Yeah, but Red the Machine, man, look him up. If anybody in the chat has ever heard of Red the Machine, just comment, a thumbs up, or just let me know how you feel about him. If you haven't, just look him up and thank me later. Definitely if you like the funk, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has a real funky voice.
How do I not know about this cat? All right.
Come on, man. I don't know. It's kind of an internet sensation a little bit. Internet social media sensation.
What's his name?
Red the Machine.
Red
the story is, I think he's from the West Coast. He's just a neighborhood cat, wrapped up in the substance abuse. But I think he was caught on a video doing like a freestyle, just singing.
Oh, you talking about that cat that does. I'm gonna tell your mama.
Yeah. Come on, man. Yeah, somebody tried to help him with his music career.
Yeah,
you get him clean. I think he kind of fell back into the cycle.
We got this track. We got this track on First Sky Omaha, the radio channel.
Man, come on now.
I'm gonna tell your mama on you. Lots of Reds. I was talking about how many Reds out there though, especially nowadays. Sexy Red is in the news a whole lot all the time. Yeah, man, it's real fun. Anyway, before we get into all that, welcome to First Sky Omaha Radio. A fresh edition of First Sky Omaha on Friday, September 29th, 2023. Thanks for joining us over on the radio channel. You in the chat already. The chat's going off. Appreciate everybody that's on YouTube right now. Yeah, man, YouTube's kind of going off. I appreciate that. Tell a friend, like and subscribe. We're trying to get as many people on YouTube as we can. We're going to eventually phase out Facebook, man, Facebook Live. So definitely get you a YouTube situation over there. There's definitely more we can do with the chat on YouTube. So definitely check it out. But let's jump in, man. Leia Keister got a doozy today.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You want to flip a coin for this one? Or
Yeah, I can give it a try. Yeah. She says, happy Friday, yippee, 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 yay, 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 yo, yo, yo. Uh-oh.
See, you had it. Take another try. I
didn't realize all the yo's at the end.
See?
Let me see the yo's at the end. Yo, 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 yay. Okay. Fry, yippee, 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 yay, 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 yo, 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 yay.
I think
I missed a yo.
I think you did, but I'll take it, man. I'll take it. I'll take it. Let us know, man. Our Friday brain activities.
If it continued on to the second line is where I got lost there. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Pop says good morning, Paul and Buddy and all the First Sky fam. Appreciate you, Pops. Thanks for getting up.
Pops.
Pops did a post yesterday on National, what is it, National Sunday or something like that. National,
Hmm.
they had National Daughter Day the other day. They had National Sunday too, and he wrote some stuff, man. I was like, man, Pops, I appreciate you.
Okay.
Went back in time, told a story about when the Rodney King riots happened, and all kinds of stuff. I was like, man, all right.
Man. You know what? I got to I got to
Never know what your family's thinking about you. You know
Oh
what I'm saying?
yeah. Oh yeah, it's good to get your flowers while you can still smell them.
Man.
But I have to give you kudos to you and Pops, man. Because as just in our relationship over the years, one thing that I've noticed about you is you always wave the flag and still for the importance of black men in the relationship with their fathers.
Mhm.
And that's sometimes you can forget the importance, and like me having my own son now, it's a beautiful thing, man. So yeah, shout out to you and Pops, man. I love y'all relationship. And
Appreciate
shout out to all the fathers out there, what I'm saying, still in their child's life, doing the thing, man. Shout out to Papa God, shout out to, what I'm saying, Mr. Lee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Lots going on there because you definitely they try to act like it's a big statistic and it's a big huge thing.
Man.
They try to, and this is for those of you, for those of our ally friends, just know all the rhetoric you hear out there about the fathers not being in sons' lives and black men not having
False.
other black men. Small percentage is false. They try to blow it up and act like that's not what's happening. But black men love their children just like everybody else does,
Man.
and they have relationships, even if sometimes they're contentious, just like everybody else's is. Sometimes they still are there. So let's get
Man.
off that other mess now. When we're dealing with statistics and we're dealing with stuff like we're going to talk about a little bit today, about like the disproportionately amount of people of black men in jail and stuff like that does affect the
Hmm.
community. Does affect the community, but for the most part, people have relationships with their dads just like everybody else does.
Man, that was a nice segue.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, we're definitely gonna jump into that and more. Amy H. Dot gives us a good morning with some sunshine. Tamika Johnson does too. Appreciate
Hey.
you coming on in. Kimra Snipes says, "Good morning, good morning, y'all."
Guten Morgen.
Speaking,
Okay.
speaking,
Okay.
speaking German on us.
Yeah. Hello. Good morning.
Wanda Luz gives us a good morning on Facebook. Thank you very much. Now we know Facebook is working.
Hey.
Like Kisa gave me a round of applause, even though I messed up the line, but I appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah. I think you just missed the yo. That's all.
Just sometimes you miss yo's. I don't know. Marlon Harrison says, "Good morning, family." Christy Nora in
Peace,
the
peace.
house. Haven't seen that name for a while. Good morning. Good
Hey.
morning to you. Mayor Sanchez says, "Best lesson my dad ever taught me was how not to be a father." Well,
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
sometimes you get
Hey,
those lessons too.
right. Hey, it could be equally as valuable.
Yeah. Marlon Harris says, "Uncles are very important too." Boy, I can't tell you,
Man, Uncle Pete.
man. I can't tell you. Uncles are very. You said it. You said it, man. I was close to my dad, close to my grandfather, and close to my great grandfather. Still don't know what would happen to me if I wasn't close to my uncles, man. My uncle Bruce that passed away recently. My uncle Milo. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Yeah. They even though I had all the fathers, they also really influenced who I am, and they were the ones that got me into music. They you know what I'm saying, like
Mm-hmm.
on the music business level and so on and so forth. So it's men in the life, it makes a big difference. So definitely don't diminish your importance if you're an uncle, if you're a
Man.
father, your grandfather. Be in the fam's life, man. That's what it is. Living life with one another for real.
Word.
Pop says, "Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Paul. Love you guys. Love you too, Pops."
Love.
Malik,
Yeah.
Malik Rogers says some of us that is on us for branding black men focus groups as the response to single parent households and not simply black male empowerment.
Okay. That's it's interesting. I guess
Is
that rhetoric could add to the stigma.
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying it doesn't exist, but we're saying not to the extent that they try to act like it does.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
every
But
black man in America don't have a father.
right. But I do want to give a shout out to, like the brother Kasim out there in his survival program.
Yeah,
You know,
Mhm.
man. Yeah.
Touching the youth, man, in the big way.
Yeah.
Reaching out
Actually,
to 'em.
Be talking about that a little later on in the show as well. Some events for those who have young people that you want to get lined up with mentorship and get connected on some other levels. Then yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that a little later on in the show. Some opportunities coming up.
Yeah. What's on the agenda today? We got lots to talk about. Actually, I forgot to talk to you about this before the show, but we got artist
Mm.
Patty Talbert coming on today.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's doing a piece. She has an exhibit out right now about Black joy. That's really interesting. And she, in the art world out here, when you have an opening, you have a show, you're gonna get a whole lot of white folks out. That's just what it's just the scene. As a matter of fact, there's a big Kaneko. There's a soiree going on tonight. The Kaneko soiree is happening.
Mm.
So this is end of year fundraisers and stuff like that. So all the big ones, Bemis, Kaneko, everybody's having huge shows, and we're trying to also get representation and from our
Dallas.
communities as well. So it's interesting that she has put this one out, and she's actually put it out for Black folks. She want Black folks to see it and hear it and feel joy.
There you go.
Right. So she's like, okay, a lot of people are coming to see it, but where are we at? So she wants to come on, talk about it, put a call out. So she'll be on today. What else we got on the agenda today on this Friday?
Man, well, as you talked about, we will continue our prison reform conversation and look at a new study. Also, a new report on the impact or effects, kind of was mixing those two words up. But yeah, impact of solitary confinement. So, again, I mean, there's been countless studies about that, but more information coming out. And I think somebody had mentioned about a couple people getting out soon who's been in solitary confinement for quite a long time.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you remember that comment. So yeah, we'll definitely be diving into that conversation. Also looking at some student loan stuff. If anybody are friends of Michelle Troxclair, you might have saw her celebratory post. She posted on Facebook saying that she finally got her student loans forgiven, got the letter in the mail. Well, again, there might be some scams going on out there. Buyer beware. We'll definitely talk about it later on in the show. If anyone else has received that same message or
Well, wait a
letter,
minute, wait. Don't let's not give him the wrong impression. Michelle Trostler didn't get a scam. She wasn't scammed.
no, she wasn't. She
Yeah,
wasn't. She
right.
wasn't. But there's some information that we still want you to be aware of.
Right.
Thank you for that caveat though. But yeah, again, if anybody else did receive same letter, let us know. Let us know what what's going on with that. Again, we're still looking at Biden's whole forgiveness plan, still hanging in the balance as far as I know. But yeah, we'll definitely look at that. Also, speaking of government, we didn't get to talk about this last show, but we definitely have to get into it as far as a government shutdown, some services that all of us might enjoy, like WIC and other things, might be in jeopardy. And Paul, you were kind of saying it might be more than that. It might be deeper than rap.
Definitely learning about what it. I forgot about what it means for a government shutdown. Who's affected and what's going on. We'll definitely
Man,
take a look at that.
yeah, might be wide stretching, man. So we'll definitely talk about that and more. Of course, as always, if there's anything we're not talking about, feel free to, chime into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. Let us know what's going on in your world. If we got some information, we'll try to talk about it. And if you have some information, definitely feel free to throw it into the conversation. Again, this is a conversation, community, town hall, round table, whatever you want to call it. We are here just to figure it out.
As a matter of fact, they're throwing it in now. Kimmer says there are two people getting ready to be out who have been in solitary confinement for more than 2,000 days.
Mm.
They're being released 14 days from each other. So we will definitely be talking about that because that was an article that came up here. I think Nebraska Examiner talked about it.
Yeah, man.
They use a lot of solitary confinement out here for real. Will Easter in the chat says every organization that has a mentoring program needs to call the governor's office and find out when the application will be ready to apply for. $500 million will be available for mentoring.
Mm.
Give us a little bit more information on that. Where's the article you saw about the $500 million coming? Love
For
to
mentoring.
love to dig deep on that for sure.
Man.
Kimmer says, speaking of the convo on prisons, I'm currently reading Are Prisons Obsolete by Angela Davis. Only 6 chapters, and it's great so far. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
we got that book when were you there when she came out to the Holland that time? Is that because I think
Nah, man, I missed that one.
I think I bought that book at that particular show when she came out that last time. So we'll talk about when she's coming out next for sure.
Yeah. Coming up soon. Coming up soon.
Yeah, she says, and they have been released with no supervision. I'm so glad you are all talking about it. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
we will definitely be talking about that one That kind of struck me hard yesterday when I saw it. So we'll definitely talk about it. And thanks for everybody that put those articles in Friends of First Sky Omaha. And thanks for being Friends of First Sky Omaha. Let's go on and get the show started on this Friday, September 29th, 2023, a fresh edition. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
Hey, let's start the show.
Feel like got some bars on you. Put some bars on that one, huh?
No, man, no, we in the pocket, man. We in the pocket.
What's happening? Thanks again for joining us. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B. the Red. Buddi the Red Buddi Da Gawd.
No, man, I got a song for you after the show, man. I got a song for you.
All right. We'll check it out. And all of you, chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, thanks for joining us. 6:30 crew over on the radio channel. Let us know how the mix was. Appreciate you guys jumping on that early. I try to make it nice. I try to do the night before now, so I don't have to rush around. I put a little thought into the mix. So let us know how the mix was at 6:30 this morning, and I appreciate you very much. You can go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the listen button, and check it out anytime. And as you well know, we're here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 hours a day, 7 to 9.
Man,
because we have this discussion with you here. Every time I'm talking to anybody in town, I'm letting them know about you, the co-hosts, the chat chimers, who bring a lot of good information into the chat all the time, and that's why we're here. And that's what we're doing. So, really appreciate you guys coming in. It is Friday. It'll be we'll have an extensive Haps a little later on the day. So get your Haps together to talk about what's going on this weekend. Lots happening this weekend. Of course, we're in week 8 of our content creators camp.
man,
We'll be talking about that a little bit more too. Tomorrow we're going to be back at Culture House. So definitely got to make sure that I remember to call Marcy today. So we can get tomorrow. Everybody who is part of that, please continue to show up. We only got about 4 classes left. So
yeah, man, it's moving along. Actually,
it's very much moving along. So again, really appreciate everybody that has joined that. And if you have not joined that yet, we encourage you to go to Friends of First Sky Omaha, hit that link, and come on in. And even if you don't hit the link, you know where we're going to be at. We're going to be at Culture House at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
yeah, man.
It's going down. So definitely encourage you guys to come through, and appreciate everybody that already does do that, man. We'll continue to talk about that. There's lots of things that are going to be coming up, so your participation is very important.
Yes,
Because it'll open us up to some new things coming and all that good stuff. But yeah, come on through tomorrow. Content Creators Camp, week 8, September 30th. Got the date right this time at Culture House at 10 o'clock. So it definitely can't wait to see you there. But yeah, get your Haps together. We'll talk about some more things coming up very soon.
man. Paul me.
Yeah, man. I'll be your instructor tomorrow. It'll be fun. We always have a good time. I never get through my whole lesson, but we always have a good time anyway. So
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely glad to make it the last time I was in Omaha. And you know, my kind of plan was just to sit back, let the teacher teach, like, you know, baby boy bowling do his thing, and you know, observe just kind of how the class is working and take some mental notes. But the engagement in the conversation was just you know, the questions being asked. I just had to hop in, So yeah, definitely big shout out to everybody that was present. A few of you chat chimers was there, man. So we definitely appreciate it. We love you. We thank you. And we might be running a bike next year. So yeah, definitely tell a friend come through. Definitely bring your young people. We would love to get into the schools and get some younger people involved with this. So yeah, I know a lot of you work with young folk. If you have some young folk in mind that might be interested in this, tell them about it. Tell them to come through. Might be some opportunities also. So yeah, tap
yeah,
in.
man. And before we get started, speaking of young folk, we got a word on the street is
That
we got a brother named David Hogg in town. We've been getting some calls in the night about the fact that he has this organization that's pretty cool. It's called Leaders We Deserve out in DC. He's in town for a day, and he's kind of here. He was here on other business, but he kind of reached out to the community and said, "Hey, I'd love to speak to some young folks, get them activated, get them motivated." This Leaders We Deserve is an organization founded by David Hogg and Kevin Latta. Leaders We Deserve is a grassroots organization dedicated to electing young progressives into Congress and state legislature across the country to help defeat the far right agenda and advance a progressive vision for the future. So sounds like a pretty powerful organization there, based out of DC, and he's in town and would love to speak to some folks. So we kind of making the connection that if you guys anybody wants to do that, anybody who's a young person in between the age of 20 to 30 that is interested in running, or any parents that are that are encouraging their kid, or any parent that works with kids, if you'd like to meet this dude, let us know, and we'll try to put you in touch with him. He's supposed to be leaving town late tonight, so he's like he got his last day in is today,
Man.
and if anybody would like to meet up with him, it might be good. I was thinking about you, Kimmer. Like there might be something might want to connect with this guy. Maybe bring your son. Yeah, anybody that's anybody who that's young and interested in running at some point. And we always talk about how we can get people in seats, especially young folks.
Mm.
So this organization seems to be doing that, and and the word on the street is from people who I trust and have respect for, as far as what they're trying to do out here to really put some people in seats and really try. So yeah, she said, yeah, I was just sitting up here getting ready right now for names. Contact me, please. I will. Yeah, I'll hit you up.
Most definitely, most definitely. I forget the quote, but I heard that the revolution and the fire and the zest for change, or the zeal for change, is usually with the youth. And what I'm saying, we definitely have to kind of get more young energy out there. Like, shout out to the Justins out in Tennessee, I believe.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Doing big things. Of course, we got our own Terrell McKinney, Senator Terrell McKinney. Somebody I went to high school with. You know what I mean? But young folk doing big things, man. So definitely in politics specifically. So definitely shout out,
Yeah,
to any youth interested in definitely getting into that. I always talk about that when we are on with Precious. Like, you have your young Republicans groups. Where's your young Democrats or your young independents? Like, where are the youth kind of political organizations out there for our folk? You know what I mean?
yeah. We've been listening to people that say that that kids are young people are joining the progressives more than they're joining other parties.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is interesting that they're really pinpointing that, like, let's bring some progressives in here and running these in these areas,
Yeah.
not just being progressive, but progressive politics as well. So it might be something interesting to definitely check out. And yeah, it is that power. As a matter of fact, one of the Justins is going to be in town, man. And you just reminded me about that when you said that. And I pulled that flyer from somewhere, and I don't know where I put it. I have to try to find that during the show. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the Justins will be in town. I think Justin Pearson is going to be in town for an event. So I'm gonna double check on that and come back to you on that. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
I get fired up when I see these young folks in there putting it down like that, man. Really firing it up, you know.
Yeah, shout out to Bree Full too, standing on her own, man. You know what I'm saying? Calling out her fellow board colleagues about the spending of OPS, man. So yeah, a lot of young folk out here. And if you don't know what we're talking about when we talk about the Justins, we're talking about, again, two senators, Justin Pearson. I forget the other one's last name. I have to get that correct, but another senator named Justin in Tennessee. As my man Paul look up his name
So
so we can give him some respect.
yeah,
But yeah, they made
Justin
national
Jones.
fame, man. After, again, they were removed. They tried to get rid of the guys from the Senate, and they came back, man. It was like, hey, nah, not that easy, not that easy, man. And definitely gained our respect in the process. So big shout out to them. Yeah, I did hear he'll be coming to Omaha. Let's try to get that info.
Yeah, absolutely. So Justin Jones is the other Justin.
Yeah, okay, man. How
All
I
of them are
forget Jones?
Justins. Yeah, Justin Jones, Justin Pearson. You guys know who we're talking about. So yeah, it will. I'll definitely try to find that information and get it out so that we can definitely support that as well. I don't know where I put
Yeah.
that thing. We'll figure it out. Jumping into the chat real quick though, there's a lot going on in the chat already. We appreciate everybody that's up this morning. Uh, Kimmer Snipes says I talked to Tamara from Omaha's homelessness task force.
Hmm,
She said that she would love to come on and talk with you guys on the show. Yeah,
for sure.
of course,
Yeah.
we'll definitely bring her on. Von Chapman says, "Good morning. That release from a long stay in solitary confinement in part, is what triggered Nico Jenkins.
Mm.
Interesting. For those of you that have not seen that Sins in the City episode yet, kind of be looking out for it. I still can't. I'm still looking for it. I'm gonna have to go ahead and pay for a channel so I can go find where TV1 stuff is at. I thought I had it, but
Man,
I guess I don't.
we'll find it. We'll find it.
Definitely find it. Gwen Easter said he shared that information when he came to the Commission on African American Affairs meeting. I have no more information. People need to contact his office for more details. You're talking about earlier when you were saying the governor's office,
The 500 million.
500 million for mentorship. Yeah, we'll definitely look into that.
Furthermore, I was trying to think of that organization. I'm glad you mentioned it again. The Commission on African American Affairs. We might have to have you on one time, or you and another one of your colleagues, to talk about that, man. We have some questions. Like we're looking at where is a kind of a consolidation of so-called black leadership, or where is that? And
Yeah,
yeah, what work are you doing? Who's involved? Would like to learn
definitely.
more.
Also, we be looking for. We're still trying to put together some stuff with a meeting between the black leadership that we have here. When we say black leadership, we're talking about the elected officials that are not always sitting in the same room together. So we're still trying to work on putting that together, and we'll let you know about that very soon as well. I'm loving what Mayor Sanchez is doing. Rome's Review said YouTube allows me to. He's doing some power user stuff here. YouTube allows me to shrink the window and scroll Facebook in the background.
Oh man,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
YouTube and Facebook on. He's making sure he sees all the chats. So
Man,
appreciate
man,
that. Marlon Harrison in the chat. Good morning. He says, "What's going on with the halfway house programs in Omaha? I remember when I used to work for Popeyes. We used to get a lot of people from the halfway house in Omaha.
man.
Good question. I'm glad you brought it up too. That we just started working with Metropolitan Community College, the 180 reentry program,
Mhm.
and I'm already learning about all the places, all the job places. And you walk in there, and I've never seen a job board that big. They have connected with so many businesses in the area in order to that are down for people that are coming out to go ahead and get jobs. It's really interesting how the work that's being done there. So hopefully I'll be able to highlight that some more. But yeah, lots of work out there, man. If you're a business, it makes sense. If it makes sense for you to decide one way or another whether or not you're going to have people who are struggling, having problems, need to be in a halfway house or coming out of incarceration to be able to be in society, working decent jobs, and so on and so forth. Very
Bouncing
important
back.
thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
So,
Also, a big shout out. We just talked about it on Monday. Big shout out to the homie Amy Holmes over there at again Heart Ministry Center. They just received a grant as a part of 5 or 6 other organizations who receive grants to help those who are formerly incarcerated find employment, housing, other services. So yeah, if you know anybody who is formerly incarcerated trying to transition back into life, yeah, point them. There are resources out there. But on the flip side, also shout out to Senator Wayne, who has mentioned that he is working on a reform bill. He called it jamming out again about people who are in prison and are just getting out, aren't having any kind of railway, any services, any programs that can help them reacclimate to life on the outside, if you will.
yeah, don't it goes to that attitude that the senators talk about all the time, especially Senator McKinney, about the way that we think about people in jail. It's just put them in jail, throw away the key. It's almost,
Man,
you know what I'm saying. You just lock them away, even and not even no thought about when they get out. You're not gonna provide no help. All these nonprofits out here, all these services out here, and nobody's gonna help you get acclimated to a new life.
man.
It's messed up. Talk about the lack of family support and the lack of just supporting people in our community in general. So messed up. Mama God in the chat. Good morning. She says, "Good morning. I hate I'll miss the camp tomorrow." Yeah, you the life of the party at the camp. I hate that you
Man,
miss it too. Encourage everybody that is coming to come on through. And I remember that we do have some lessons there. It's not just a discussion group. There is some curriculum there. So come with
oh,
your notepad, come to listen, and we'll be talking about it.
yeah, I'm sorry, I just had a thought. I didn't want to cut you off. But Amy, while we got you in the chat, she says, thank y'all for the recognition. But would love to also have, wanted to talk to you about our content creators camp. If you have anybody at the center that's interested in getting into reporting, kind of getting more into telling, what's going on with the government, what's going on with the community. actually getting into some writing. If anyone is interested in citizen journalism and content creating, tell them to come holla at us.
Yeah, we'd love to see you over there too. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna be at Culture House, so you might not want to be back on the block on your day off. But if you ain't doing nothing tomorrow morning, come through. Tony Johnson in the chat on Facebook said Nebraska Democrats focusing on special interest groups where black youth not involved, not focus on black youth needs.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can see there's definitely some need there to focus a little bit more on black youth on for every organization for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nebraska Democratic Party, they have their event tonight as well. So
The Ben
shout out,
Nelson Gallo.
yeah, Ben Nelson Gallo. Shout out to Precious for giving us the information on that, and and let us know if you're in the chat. Anybody who's going, I don't know if there's anybody in this chat
Hmm.
that's going, but maybe we'll see.
Just
And if you're
contemplate.
yeah, if you're a ghost listener, let us know if come on, let us know if you're gonna hit that up too. We'll see what's going on. Before we get too far out into this show today, too, I just want to mention, the other day when we were on the air on Wednesday, we talked about this very important meeting that was happening Thursday, uh,
Hmm.
the Moore meeting, and just want to put out there that if there's anybody in the chat that went to the Moore meeting, we're going to be asking you your perspective on that. We want to know exactly what happened. We're talking about this meeting right here. This thing must have ever show up when I press the button. So restream be slow, slow, slow. Oversight, transparency, and accountability meeting that just happened at Fabric Lab yesterday. I did get some kind of sources information from people that were there. They were texting me throughout about some things and reminding me about some things to definitely look into, like how many other groups, what was going on with the 531 money and other groups that seemed like they had a lot of special interests or connections to. And there was just a lot. There was a lot said, and there's an article about it already, and we're definitely gonna go through that. As a matter of fact, I'm hopefully we can go through it first, if you don't mind, buddy, and definitely take a look at this because I think we got people in the chat that might have went. If you did go, let us know. We would definitely love to hear from you exactly exactly what went down at this meeting because apparently it was a lot and a lot brought up. We know that we're still trying to really push for some solidarity here when it comes to making sure that we get this $400 million into North and South Omaha. It's very important that there's some solidarity here. It's very important that we're working with the next step, which is the DED office on everything that's happening here. And we're still there's going to be some we're going to be working with clarifying language and clarifying communication on this stuff until the money's passed out. So oversight committee stuff happening with this stuff and the Moore meeting yesterday that was huge. That's what I thought. Kimber says I was there for at least half. I went to the consolidated planning meeting first. Okay, so love to hear any insights that you had on that Moore meeting. I know that you were there, paying close attention, if not taking notes. Go ahead.
I just want to clarify something. You're kind of mixing two things up. There's two
Oh,
there's two different meetings. There's a
oh, okay.
lot going. Yeah, you're right. There is a lot going on. There's two different meetings. So yes, yesterday there was a meeting with the senators. They had a meeting, and I definitely want to hear more about that. But we don't have an article on that. What we have an article is
Oh,
on the Moore meeting, but the Moore meeting was about prison reform and what's
oh,
going on
got it.
with again the ombudsman and
Oh, yeah, that's right.
yeah, which is definitely right in line with what we're talking about as far as solitary confinement and everything else. Exactly what's going on inside the prisons. But this is another part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like when we really get into the conversation, it's all connected because when somebody gets out of jail, when somebody gets out of prison, and they come back to their community, what jobs will be there? What
Man,
opportunities will be there? What kind of economic status will the community be in? And we know when economics are on the downside, people turn to a life of crime, which leads to more recidivism. So come on, man. Like
yeah,
it's definitely all in the same connection. So I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know where you want to go with it. If you want to talk about the DED meeting that took place yesterday, or if you
yeah.
do want to jump into the Moore meeting that happened.
No, I think I made a mistake here because I thought there was an article about that Moore meeting, about the DED meeting yesterday.
Hmm.
But there's this that's the Moore meeting
Yes,
article.
sir.
So
Yes, sir.
yeah, let's dive into the one that we have the article on, and then we'll talk to maybe Kimura later at another time. And of course, we'll be checking in with the senators that were there on Monday about
Yep.
that
Yep.
meeting too. So yeah, I appreciate you helping me untangle that.
No, no doubt, no doubt. That's what we're here for, man, to figure it
Yeah.
out. That's what first sky means, to come to an understanding. So again, we're gonna make it happen. If anyone else was there at that meeting yesterday, again, talking about the DDLB 1024 531, the hundreds of millions of dollars coming to the community, definitely put your thoughts in the chat. We'll definitely love to hear some firsthand takes on that meeting. But again, yes, on Wednesday, there was also another meeting. Shout out to brother A. Jamal Benden and more, which stands for let's get it right. Movement in Omaha for racial equality, not equity, equality. Again, movement in Omaha for racial equality, aka more, more. Again, they hosted a meeting on Wednesday. At Shout out again, putting in a lot of work. Fabric Lab, the good people at Fabric Lab, they hosted that as well. Again, right there on the Deuce. If anybody made it to that meeting, would definitely love to hear your take on it as well. But again, as reported by Nebraska Examiner, members of a North Omaha racial justice group expressed fears Wednesday night that a recent adverse legal opinion may be shutting off a vital resource for addressing problems in state agencies. State inspectors general for corrections and child welfare can't get access to what's going on. How can they report on concerns with government functions and suggest changes? Was the main question. Again, shout out to brother A. Jamal Benden, who is the chairman of the board of Movement for Racial Equality, or more. He says the key words are transparency and accountability. Again, big words that have been ringing out for several years, and we don't have enough of that in government, which is why First Sky Omaha exists. But again, about 20 people crowded the Fabric Lab on the Deuce. So again, if you were one of those 20, definitely let us know what your takeaway was. But again, they were all there to learn more about the two inspector general's offices established by the Nebraska legislature, as well as the state ombudsman's office, which investigates complaints about state agency performance. So again, who polices the police on a state level? Shout out to Chris Baby Boy Bolin. But who is governing the government? Who's watching? Who's making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to and representing the offices that they are supposed to represent? That's a big question. And even bigger question is why Nebraska Attorney General Mike Hilgers made the recent legal opinion, that caused this whole stir and commotion. The opinion, again, which was signed by Attorney General, said that probes from these legislatively appointed watchdogs significantly impairs the powers of the executive branch and state judiciary to govern their operations. The legal opinion, again, while lacking the power to change the state laws. So again, no laws have been changed, but it did effectively handcuff the inspectors general, as put a chill on their access to information. So again, if nobody can report on it, or if there's nobody to report to, and there's no information to report, how can we really know what's going on in the nation's worst prison system? So, yeah, big concern right now.
Good one. Kimmer Snipes in the chat says, "A Jamal would be good to talk to. Love to reach out to him, have him on for sure on this subject." And also, this is something that we know that this is close to Senator Terrell McKinney's heart, Brother Wayne too. But Terrell McKinney's really pushing for prison reform all the time. So we'll love to see what he has to say about this on Monday. Von Chapman in the chat says, "Recidivism is a problem in the community amongst the disadvantaged." So we know that there's a lot of recidivism going on here, higher numbers that we'll be talking about later, than higher proportionate number of people of color in jail. We already talked a little bit about this solitary confinement situation. Lots going on, so we definitely need to talk to them about what we can do, where the oversight needs to be coming from is what I'm saying. Outside oversight to me is always kind of the answer. If they don't have skin in the game, then maybe they can be a little bit more, observant and not easily swayed for one opinion or the other. Really, kind of
Mhm.
really do some actual oversight. You know what I mean?
I mean, you go back to the George Floyd. Like, what happened to those calls for citizen review boards? What happened to those calls for those types of activities? And kind of just fell on his face and died down.
Yes,
But
never
it's a necessity. It is a necessity, obviously. And What are they hiding? I mean, it's obvious they're trying to hide something. The question is what? And when you think about just how um, dangerous of a mix, the Nebraska prison system is, when you talk about severe overcrowding, severe understaffing, you know what I mean? Crumbling infrastructure, buildings that are leaking. I mean, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. So, yeah, and this is all happening under Pillen's watch. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah. Again, I think from us talking about these things over the course of time, we see that what it seems like what their real plan is just to build more prisons, and they build prisons with the promises of moving people out of one to into a better facility and so on. But as we can see, they kind of it's almost like they don't build them big enough. If they're gonna build them, they don't they they have to go back on their word. And then now we got two prisons. Now we got two spots.
Man.
With one spot still having all the original problems that they claim that they need a new prison for. So, yeah, this is all wrapped up in one, and it's unfortunate. I love this position that we're in right now, where we're working with the reentry program. Just talk about what can happen, and what people can do to make sure they don't go back. That
Man.
recidivism. You don't know what that word recidivism means. It gets tossed around in this world a lot, but basically it just means you come out, you don't really have no place to go, nothing to do. You fall back in with who you was running with before, and before you know it, you're back in jail. And how many people get out of jail and then have to go back to jail for something? Is the recidivism part. That's, are you going back? We need to stop recidivism. We need to make it so that when they come out, they stay out for good. You know what I'm saying? All of
Hmm.
us, because there's no point in creating a world where you don't have some options when you've paid your debt to society, like they say. You should be able to come out and start anew. But the jam outs, like brother Senator Wayne always talks about, they just jam
Hmm.
you out. You throw you out there without
Man.
any kind of rehabilitation, any kind of any kind of what's the opposite of jam out? Ease out, I guess. you know,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
they
mean,
don't
it
they
just,
don't ease you back into society at all.
nah, just a good luck. Just a good luck.
Yeah. So and a lot of times you can tell story after story, and we're getting stories after stories too of people that really don't have nowhere to go, can't go back with their family. Their family was the one of the problems in the first place. That had them all out, that had them in situations where they were committing crimes. I mean, who knows? You
Hmm.
know, all we know is that a lot of times when you're especially economically depressed in an economically depressed area, you're gonna suffer some disadvantages. You might feel some desperation. You might do some things, and if that situation is not changed and helped when you get out, then why wouldn't you go back to it? I mean, and then let's not even talk about like what happens to you when you're inside.
Well, let's talk about it actually.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it because there's a new report coming out of Omaha Rural Herald raising concerns about long-term solitary confinement. We're finding out that man, it's pretty bad inside, especially for certain inmates who find themselves again separated from the general population, if you will. Again, according to this report, new prison oversight is raising concern that two Nebraska inmates who have spent years in restrictive housing are slated to leave prison without supervision in December. This might be the same exact cases that again a few of you chat chimers have brought up. The report, which was released on Sunday by the Inspector General of Corrections, which may be why they're trying to block them from having access, said Nebraska's prison system has made progress since 2015 in reducing the number of prisoners placed in restrictive housing and the number kept there for more than 6 months at a time. But the annual report also noted that difficulty making that adjustment from restrictive housing to the general prison population contributed to the death of a prisoner in 2021. The man has spent nearly 5 years in restrictive housing, sometimes called solitary confinement, before being moved to the Community Correction Center in Omaha. According to the report, those years in solitary harmed his mental health. In restrictive housing, prisoners are locked in their cells for 23 hours a day and have very limited contact with other people. They are allowed out to spend time in a small outdoor enclosure and to take a shower. Critics say such conditions can cause or exacerbate severe mental and physical health complications. Extended periods of solitary confinement and lack of supervision after release from prison were cited among the factors contributing, as one of our chat chimers has already mentioned, to Nico Jenkins killing 4 people in Omaha within 3 weeks of leaving prison in 2013. In 2021, inmate death. The inspector general said prison officials had a transition plan for a man, but it was not sufficient. The man was able to disengage from mental health services despite signs that he was struggling. There was no indication he had been referred for treatment after testing positive for amphetamines at the community correction center. So, again, sin to the city. As Paul has mentioned, the Nico Jenkins story has been the subject of a recent TV1 episode of their show, Sins of the City. And these kind of systemic shortcomings are exactly what they're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah, lots to unpack there. That is definitely been a concern. Chat chimers, you guys have talked about this several times. Just thinking about, it doesn't take a whole lot of imagination to think about what that might be like to be in solitary confinement that way, and what that'll do, and especially if you're in there an extended period. I remember us reporting a long time ago that one of the reasons why they were saying they were using this because of the overcrowding situation. They have overcrowding situation there at the prison, and then they have understaffing at the prison, and they thought it might be a good idea that they use that the solitary confinement sometimes just to like maintain control of what's going on around there, and that's unfortunate.
Man, and again, I mean, you got to consider, you know, what's the percentage of people in prison that are already dealing with mental health issues? Just coming in from the street, just coming in from the street, already dealing with mental health issues, and then to be thrown into solitary confinement for an extended period of time on top of that.
Mm.
How does that help? How does that help anybody?
It's a good question. And then that goes to talking about how understaffed and under resourced our mental health is in this area as well. A lot of times they use jail and prison as places where people who need to be they need to be taken care of go, and they know that they're putting them in prison knowing that they need some different help, and there's don't have enough resources out here to do there. No, not enough concentration. There's plenty of resources, but not enough people who think it's important important enough to help that situation. We hear about one mental health facility being built, but we hear about several jails being built, and get the impression that some of those mental health facilities are like extra jail beds a lot of
Yeah.
times too. So yeah.
Yeah. And to clarify, I'm gonna just throw this other article in, and just to wrap this up, man. There's a new study that's being reported by WOWT. A new study by a national nonprofit shows that Nebraska and Iowa are among the states with the highest ratios of blacks to whites among the prison population. So, just to clarify who we're talking about, and what this population actually looks like, and what they're dealing with as far as their complexion and mental
There
state.
you go.
The study on racial disparity among the incarcerated was released Wednesday by the Prison Policy Initiative, which classifies itself as a nonprofit, nonpartisan criminal justice research organization. The study, based in 2021 data from the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics, reports that across the U.S., black people are locked up at 6 times the rate of white people on average. Nebraska and Iowa sit above the average, each at 9 times, as do Minnesota and Utah, New Jersey, and Wisconsin at the top of the list. So, yeah, not looking good. Not looking good. And I just kind of wonder, with all of this, with all of this, at what point does it become like human rights relations? When does it become human rights violation? Especially considering that on the Nebraska Constitution, you're no longer considered a slave while incarcerated. Again, that although a lot of people try to keep it, that law was removed from the Constitution. So, at what point is Nebraska going to be held accountable for respecting the human rights of these inmates, or these incarcerated peoples?
Yeah,
Say,
that's a good question. We need to check in with the ACLU, see if they're involved at all there. That would be good to see, because that you're right. We need to be looking at human rights violations for sure with this. I saw a comment in the chat. T. Ren said, "By design, prison reform in this type of state is a long time coming. Every step will have to be through lawsuits." So again, where's the ACLU on a lot of these things? It's very interesting.
Man, litigation. Ain't that
Like
right?
Brother Chapman says, right? He says, as a matter of fact, Brother Chapman says they obviously don't want the public know just how bad conditions are in the prisons. They really don't. It's really hard to talk to inmates or people that are incarcerated. It's really hard to talk
Mhm.
to anybody and find out what's going on. There's really closed mouth. Again, no oversight. There's really no oversight when it comes to that. What happens in the prison stays in the prisons.
Man, actually, to that point, in the Nebraska Examiner article, it is also mentioned that not only are ombudsmen and inspectors general not allowed in the corrections facilities, but also families. Apparently, visitations with prison inmates were severely limited, with access denied to some inmates and visits restricted to public areas only. Meaning, the inspectors general for corrections can only go into visiting rooms, and again, and making it even harder for family members.
Yeah. Tony Johnson is asking where are those from Black Lives Matter rally in Omaha? They were active young people, not sure what they're doing now on these social justice issues. Good question. Hopefully they're beyond moving past the rallies and moving into some action. But
Hmm.
we'll see. I know there's a lot of people that were associated with Black Lives Matter from back in like Freedom Summer 2020. They're still doing it. Still people trying to put butts in seats as far as those put people in power. Doing a lot of that kind of work. So, but yeah, where's the fire from the young folks again too? We definitely need to be trying to help rally them up on things. Von Chapman also says another example how crime pays for those who control prison overcrowding. They continue to receive funding for negative conditions they create. But he said, Buddy, they should call it the Nico Jenkins syndrome.
Mm,
Brother Knight says I had to save a brother once from the police who did 5 years in the hole. His mind was screwed up. He said I still see him from time to time walking the streets. He still remembers that night.
man.
Marlon Harrison in the chat says that there's a lot of former inmates on TikTok, and their stories about their time in prison are crazy. Man, good, good. Thank you for that, brother Harrison. I gotta say, this goes to our point all the time. Like, where do you get your news? Well, where people get their news from
Mm,
places like TikTok, man, they can hear people they're using their social media to extend their voice and let you know what's going on in a place that they won't let traditional media in to check, or they won't, they don't have people in there really checking out things. You can hear it straight from the horse's mouth on places like TikTok. We definitely will take a look at that just
man.
to just to be able to hear their stories. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of that, I do want to kind of draw, relation, I guess you could say, or I just want to speak to also an issue happening down here in Atlanta as far as Fulton County Jail, and the investigation that's going on with that. If you don't know, Fulton County Jail needs to be shut down, and this investigation needs to continue. There's been, I believe, 10 deaths in 3 months.
10 deaths in 3 months.
Yeah. Don't quote me on that, but it's been a high number of deaths in a short amount of time in this prison. If you remember, this is the actually, I believe this is a county jail. It's not even a prison,
Mm.
but this is the facility where the young man was found with the bed bugs,
Hmm. Yeah.
and he passed away with severe bed bug bites and things like
Oh my
that.
God.
So, again, yes, it's a national issue, man. It's happening all over the nation. It just so happens that it's happening also in Nebraska, which is the most overcrowded prison system in the nation. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mama God has a good suggestion based on a personal situation. He said, family member was paroled to my house back in the day. He told me several people are eligible to leave now, but no family that's past eligibility requirements. So more transitional housing will help reduce recidivism. That's really
Mm,
interesting. Yeah, that's what we say. I mean, that's when you wind up in certain places. Sometimes it's because you don't have other help and other resources and family and places to go. So
yeah.
why would that change after you get out? You know what I'm saying? Like what moves did you make? What moves did you make while you were in prison to secure a place for you to be at when you get out? I mean, you obviously need help. There's too many nonprofits and too many programs out here to be running, and too many millions of dollars going to them to not have a sufficient amount of money to help people transition back into society. It don't make no sense to me.
Man, yeah, and it's gonna take training. Like, just imagine you're locked away for 10, 15 years, which is real numbers that they're throwing out there. Um, how do you readjust to technology? How do you readjust to what's Uber, and like, how do you really find out about all the resources that are really out there when the people who are out living every day can't even find out about half the
Yeah,
stuff?
or find housing.
Right.
People with jobs. People with people. You know what I'm saying? It's how the odds are stacked in a big way, and the reason why it's a bad thing is because it really leans to you back in a state of desperation. You got to do what you got to do, which means that you might wind up back in the same place. So where is the reform that's supposed to be happening in jail? Where is the rehabilitation?
Man,
Where is any of that?
man.
Von Chapman says human rights violations all over the place in Nebraska prisons, and since it involves people of color, white folk are not concerned. Brother, senators are telling us black folks ain't concerned. Nobody's
Man.
concerned.
Man. They look like Will Smith on the last episode, just in there alone.
Nobody's. That's the point. Nobody. There's what I'm learning is that people who got family in jail ain't they all the time ain't that concerned. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Hmm.
attitude that people have about people that are going to jail is a stigmatism. There's all kinds of things attached to it that make it so that you got kind of this general societal attitude about it that makes it so that you're not really treating people like humans. It's from years of the fact that they're slaves when they are in prison. It's from years and years and years of us being used to the way the 13th Amendment works, which is that you're a slave. What you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like a fight to get people to start thinking about human rights violations, and it's a fight to think about to say, well, how comfortable do you want to make it for them in jail? Well, they can't be getting eaten up by bed bugs. Can we
Man.
agree on that part?
Do they deserve, running plumbing, daylight?
Prisoners of war sometimes get treated better. Brother Knight says they alone won't change what works for them. Von Chapman says philanthropists in the city of Omaha tore down the projects that were transitional housing for more reasons than one. Transitional housing is another thing we need. We talk about housing all the time. Don't really talk about that. What was transitional housing? When did it get tore down? What's
Mm,
that all about? Tony Johnson
man.
says those running programs not qualified, only qualified to accept money. Well, I mean, it depends on the program. There's some good programs out there, but yeah, in general, with all the programs and all the money floating around,
I mean, just call it what it is. There are some poverty pimps out there.
yeah, absolutely. Again, I'm so happy that we're partnering with MCC on this. I helped them do a documentary back in like 2015 or 16, while back 2015, I believe it was, and they were in a smaller building and they had some resources and they had some staff. Now they're in a bigger building, bigger staff, whole lot more resources, whole lot more job placement, whole lot more home placements. And I'm,
Hmm.
I'm I'm already just getting started with them and already realizing like how powerful of a situation that is, and the people behind it have been really pushing. Man, the lady who runs it used to be in prison, so she understands. She knows
Man,
what's happening. She knows what people need and what people need to do to not be back in. And so, again, we need to be throwing 10 times more resources to a program like that. 10 times more
man.
resources.
Actually, shout out to my brother William Kimbrough Bay. Peace, brother. Peace. Yeah, definitely a brother that I met down here. Definitely a good brother. And I hope you don't mind me sharing. Also, formerly incarcerated, so he definitely understands what we're talking about, man. Like, it's real human rights violations going on down there, man. So,
But
yeah,
you met
yeah,
out there in Atlanta?
yeah. Good brother, man. Good brother.
That's what's up. Yeah, I love that you're out there. I love that we can make that kind of connection. There's a lot of stuff that's going out there that's happening here. There's a lot of things that were going out there that I heard, with Cop City and everything that we might
Man,
be a year or two away from here in Omaha. You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
T. Ren in the house said, years of being stolen from will change family wanting their loved ones to stay with them. At the end of the day, the system and in those in charge of it must be challenged, protested, held accountable. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of factors there. It might be the family that got you into the trouble in the first place, or it might be the family that can't allow you to keep on taking from them. Whatever it is, people gonna come out and move next door to somebody. So, what do you want them people to do? What when you think about what prison and jail is supposed to be for, it's supposed to, there's a rehabilitation factor that's supposed to be there. How does that work? Does it even work? Is there any programs inside? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's very to me looks like there's very few programs that help people acclimate to societal life. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, yeah, Malik Rogers says a lot more poverty pimping than you think. Most of these programs cannot show numbers of success or quality services provided. I always think back to the reason for nonprofit organizations, which they're supposed to solve a problem. They're supposed to or be able to raise money and take advantage of philanthropy in order to build organizations that solve problems, but they're not supposed to exist forever. They're supposed to solve a problem, and then after that problem gets solved, there should be no need for that nonprofit organization necessarily. Now, there's ongoing problems, and I'm not saying that there isn't ongoing problems in certain sectors that do need ongoing help. But the alternative, and they also pop up because what's the government doing about a certain problem?
Man.
So if the city, if the government, the local government's not going to do anything about solving a certain problem, then thank goodness for programs that are out there trying to do that as well. But you're right. Maybe they don't have the expertise, or maybe they're not getting to the problem solving, or maybe they're getting complacent in just getting a check every year and making a small dent. We talk a lot about that fish in that lake situation. There's a lot of nonprofits out here helping one fish at a time. Who's out here trying to detoxify the lake? All the reasons why the fish are sick in the first place.
Mm.
What organizations are big enough out there? What government agencies are big enough out there to help detoxify the whole situation, the whole system? Vaughn Chapman says Hilltop Project, Spencer Project, Southside Terrace projects were all designed to be transitional housing, all intentionally tore down for unaffordable housing. Oh, okay,
Mm.
now I understand what you mean by transitional housing. I'm thinking you're talking about like halfway house coming out of prison situation, but yeah, transitional housing is also, can also be staying somewhere while you get your situation together enough to be able to move into another or buy a home or do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but you're right. Yeah, all these things are getting torn down, and in the name of building some new facilities. As a matter of fact, there's somebody in Friends of Sky Omaha is talking about another one. I think I put it in the Monday, but it was there's a housing projects that are getting built now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have that.
We got that. Boy,
Talking about Legacy Crossing.
Legacy Crossings. Thank you. Yes, that
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if those are exactly projects, but definitely notorious for health violations. Again, recently made the news about a mass closing. This is the incident where many people from the community had to step up, pull out trucks and box trucks and flatbeds and all types of
remember that.
things to help these people who were effectively just kicked out overnight. Had to find in a swift manner somewhere to go, and it does look like that area is getting new life. Again, the new tenants are ready to move into the complex under new management with a new name, but hopefully it's not the same story. So we'll definitely be looking at that. But again, phase one of the renovation is almost complete. 4 units and the clubhouse now have new siding and new paint. There's new asphalt on the parking lot as well. Inside, the newly named Highpoint Apartments are all brand new, complete with granite countertops, new appliances, and a washer and dryer in every unit. A lot of work has been done, and this place looks much better than it did about a year ago. Again, when the city of Omaha deemed it unsafe and moved everyone out with the swiftness, according to Billy Meyer, who is the new owners, or excuse me, with the new owners of High Point Apartments. He says when we first came in, we had to learn about what we're working with and devise a plan and what we want to do and what we want to execute. So hopefully, it's not just new paint on an old problem. Hopefully, there will be new management and actual management and upkeep of these properties. But that's the issue, man. It's either you find affordable housing that's not always, the most safe, or you just can't find anywhere at all. It's very hard to find affordable, safe, clean housing. It
I'm gonna
seems.
just say that, and then I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna jump into the chat.
Okay.
As soon as you said granite countertops,
Yeah, I mean, I felt I wasn't looking at the screen. I was reading the article, but I felt you. I felt your facial expression.
bro,
I just knew as soon as I said granite
come on,
countertops, it
man,
was like,
come on,
yeah,
bro.
come on,
It now
buddy.
it feels real convenient that all of a sudden people got to move out of a spot because of health code violations, and they got to move out that day. Don't even have no time to pack stuff. Just they got to be out,
Man,
and then not a few months later, we got granite countertops coming in,
new management.
new management, washer and dryer inside the unit, and what you think the people that had to move out of those legacy crossings going to be able to move back in them? That's not part of their plan. Real convenient that who makes the order? You guys got to leave right now because now they sus to me. I got to see what's going on with that. How are you in
Hmm.
cahoots with the new developers?
Hey, man, you might have to follow the money. Might have to follow the money. Speaking of the money, yeah, I don't know if do we consider this affordable or not. Rent at Highpoint will run from 950 to 1400 per
That's
month,
market rate.
depending on the size of the apartment.
That's market rate.
So about 1,000 for a one bedroom.
Right. That's. I mean, I'm living in Benson for that. There's you can live downtown for that. That's market rate. That's what all the new apartments are going for. Jumping to the chat real quick, man. Malik Rogers in the chat. Good morning. Said people running programs understand that the more the problem remains, the longer they will have funding to pay themselves. Also, Stephen Abraham says transitional housing is going to be important moving into the future of housing development, affordable housing. Yes, transitional housing is definitely going to be definitely needed. He also says many individuals that are incarcerated come into the system with underlying medical conditions, which only get worse when they become incarcerated because they may not get this. They more than may not. They will not get the specialized treatment that they could receive while on the outside versus the inside. We've had report after report about people who are not even able to get their insulin sometimes. I mean, the healthcare
Man,
inside of prisons is atrocious.
yep.
Kimmer Snipe says, I'm literally trying to work myself out of a job at One Omaha. Most folks are not trying to work themselves out of a job. Right. We're going back to talking about the purpose of nonprofits. You're trying to solve a problem, man. That's what you're there for. Kimmer
Hmm.
Snipe says, first guy should get on KETV Giving Wednesday. I'll send you John's contact information. Appreciate it.
Let us know.
Also, Vaughn Chapman in the chat says if philanthropy was interested in solving the problem addressed by nonprofits, they would invest in the nonprofit to ensure success rather than for the tax break they offer.
Hmm.
Yep. Stephen Abraham says Legacy Crossing was an example of how certain things can be overlooked. The most important lesson about this is how they're going to redevelop these properties in three phases. One of those phases includes the possible rebuild of certain buildings. That means turn them down building, possibly some more buildings. Okay. A little further down, he says, I think it's important to know that when I was commissioner of Omaha Housing Authority, I was able to implement that. Those who were displaced from the development would have first choice going back to those new developments. I think the senators that are advocates for housing for having I think the senators that are advocates for housing for having the ability to implement politics that would preserve the residents' rights to move back in developments when they have been displaced from them. Um, yeah, are we seeing that though? Is that actually happening?
Man.
T. Bren says, I'm sorry, Kimmer says Southside Terrace was originally meant for people in the military. Interesting. T. Bren
Hmm.
says move the North Omaha and ins and outs of West Omaha, the North Omaha out, and I'm not sure how to say that.
The North
Oh,
Omahans
all
out and West Omahans
all
in.
Omahans, got it, okay.
Yeah.
Clear Sites when it was first built, at least from my understanding, talking about, Southside Terrace.
Mm.
Von Chapman says
Yep.
that who controls market rate? Those who own unaffordable housing, exactly. Wanda Lewis in the
Right.
chat says, all while the towers are being ignored. City and state says it's OHA's problem. However, the Douglas County Health needs to step up and do unto all. Why do OHA get a pass? Plagued with bed bugs, plumbing, heating, cooling issues. Very
Man, mold. We talked about those photos that went out about one of the towers and some of the mold, the black mold in the walls. Yeah, man, in the hallway. Like you gotta walk through it. Yeah, yeah. It's
yep.
again, affordable housing is one thing, but is it quality? Is it safe?
Yeah.
Is it healthy?
I would really appreciate everybody that's joined into the chat, and talking about the subject. Obviously, this is something that we are very passionate about. The chat chime is very passionate about, and we'll continue to talk about these things for sure. But we do have a special guest waiting in the wings, so we're gonna go ahead and get set up and bring her in. In the meantime, between time, we'll take a quick break. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B,
Hey.
Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, and all of you radio listeners. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the
Paul
morning.
B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, thanks for joining us. The chat is going
Hey.
off. You guys are hot about this
Yeah, man.
subject here. Again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate everybody's comments. If you missed any parts of this show, please go back and check it out in its entirety on Facebook and YouTube. And definitely check out the chats when you do. Lots of good information in there, lots of passionate information in there. Sometimes a little bit of trolling here and there, but for the most part, it's pretty good. We got the kind of the best chat
Yeah.
in the world, so we appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. And it is 8:13 right now, if you believe in the concept of time. And we did say that we had a special guest coming on, and we're going to bring her on now, ladies and gentlemen. Artist
I think
Patty
it's froze. Oh, there I am.
Patty Talbert in the house. Good morning. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Loud and clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning. You did
Welcome.
good
Good
with
morning.
with the technology there.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
this
looking.
is early for me, so I don't know how much my wits will be about me this
Well,
morning.
you're in good company. This is early for all of us. We're
Yes.
musicians, so this is like last night for us. So
Okay.
Yes, but you look comfy. You got the pillows, got the nice lighting. I think you're doing well so far.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah. And you're
Yeah.
coming in loud and clear and clear. So I really appreciate you doing that. Thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank
For,
you for having me.
yeah, for those of you who don't know, ladies and gentlemen, Patty Talbert is the powerhouse artist. And I got to tell you, holding your own in all of the scene, as far as I'm concerned. And we know that sometimes the scene is pretty segregated out here when it comes to like the art world and different worlds. But everybody pretty much knows who you are. So you're doing pretty
Well,
good.
I don't know about that, but
Okay.
I think my name is getting out there more than it was. But I
Okay.
still got a lot of work to do.
How long have you been doing art?
I started seriously in 2008 or 9. That's when I had my first show at
Okay.
Love's.
Okay, 2008 or 9, you had your first show at Love's Jazz. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
All
Okay.
my solo shows have been at not all of them, but majority of them have been at Love's.
Okay, so I remember seeing your artwork at Love's a lot, and and,
Hmm.
and around town a lot too. Like what year did you start doing all the public art that you do?
The positive affirmation series started in 2016.
Yes.
That's if people don't know, because I did it anonymously.
Hmm.
That's where
Mm.
I took positive affirmation signs, which I needed for my own personal self, and I stuck them to I nailed them to utility poles in North Omaha. And they say
Mm.
things like justice and joy and harmony and love, all things that are positive.
That's so funny.
Um,
I did not know. I thought that was a commissioned work. You basically was bombing up, doing some graffiti around town because that.
yeah, I did that all on my own, and I didn't. I think one of the things I'm most proud of about it was I didn't ask for permission.
Ooh,
I
Okay.
just did it on my own,
I love
and
it.
luckily the city has embraced it
Mm.
in a positive way and not in a negative way.
So no fines. No fines.
No fines.
They didn't throw you in
Woo!
jail for
Yeah,
graffiti.
no fines. Yeah, I
Uh,
was worried about that, but yeah, I found that when the city, and I'm pretty sure it's the city that does this, when a sign is gone, I can tell when it's the city
Ah,
because the
mhm.
city will lay it down on the ground in front of the sign, in front of the pole. And
really?
Mm.
then there'll be another sign like right by it, and that sign will still be up. So I figure if it was a city, they would be gone.
Wow.
So I think it's people that take the
Mm.
signs.
Interesting.
Yeah, I put
Interesting.
up I've probably put up close to 400 since I've started.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to I'm,
Yeah.
I'm
That's
trying to look for some of the some. I'm looking on your page right now to see if I can find some examples of that. But I'll find something to show people. But yeah, I remember
There
seeing those
should
things
there
around
should
town.
be stuff. I haven't been on I'm not on social media as much as I used to.
Hmm.
Fiber Lab has some posted on their site.
Fabric Lab. Yeah.
I'm also doing signs for the North Omaha Trail.
Right.
And
okay.
one
Okay.
thing I really want to stress is those signs aren't for the community to take.
Okay.
They're actually for the trail.
There
So
you go.
we would really appreciate it if people didn't take those signs. Once they're
Message.
gone, they're gone. And then, someone else doesn't get to see it that might need it. So if
Mm.
we could like keep those in place, we would really appreciate it. And I made those signs more special.
Hmm.
Like I put a
Mm.
lot more
Okay.
work into those signs.
Yeah.
Those signs were commissioned, but the
Okay.
other ones in
Mm.
the city aren't. Those are I say those are the communities,
Got
but
it.
the ones
Okay.
for the trail are for the trail.
Okay.
There you
So
go. There you
Well,
go.
Brianna Fool's in the chat. She said, "Good morning to you." She said, "We love Patty's art." So,
Getting some
thank
love.
you.
Hey.
Mary
Hey.
Sanchez is asking, "Where you're from and how did you get your start?"
There you go.
I was born and raised in Omaha. I've lived in Omaha all my life. I was actually raised off of 36th and Lake.
Okay.
Actually, a majority of the community signs are on Lake Street
Hmm.
and 24th Street because that's where I grew up.
Right.
But I
Mm.
try to
Okay.
spread them around.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what made you start doing art in the first place?
Um, I chose art because it was something that I enjoy. I did not choose it for the money because it's not an easy gig to live off of.
You ain't lying.
Hmm.
It will be. It's just not right now. But yeah, I chose it because I like it. It brings me joy.
Yeah.
Um, it
Beautiful.
was the same thing. I also used to be a cosmetologist
Oh,
for 30
Mm.
years.
Okay.
And the reason why I chose that was because I enjoyed it. So
There you go.
yeah.
brings you joy. Speaking
Hmm.
of joy, we're going to jump into talking about your new exhibit called Black Joy, Paintings and
Yes.
Words by Patty Talbert. I love it. I love it very much. And I love the reason, the main reason why we try to get more artists on the show. We haven't had a lot, but we're happy to have you on because it's very
Yes.
specific to what it is that we're talking about all the time, which is, just being able to live in our blackness, have black joy, and also to support black artists. We know in the art world here, like I said, this is for me. This is one of the most segregated places I've ever lived. So every time I get into any kind of scene, I see the separations, and what I see a lot of times is a lot of us will have art shows, and a lot of people that frequent those art shows, white folks. I mean, it's just the majority of people out here is white folks, and they're in the scene in the world, and
Yeah,
they come through because that's part of the thing that they do. It's sometimes a little difficult to get us out there to
it's
come and
very
check
true.
out stuff, right? And from what I understand, you did this show with us in mind, that you wanted black folks to come see this and experience joy. I see you put another post up here. Is this your artist
That
statement?
has my artist statement on it.
Yeah, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the artist statement there.
Yeah.
I can't see it right in front of me because I don't
Uh-huh.
because my glasses. I get
Okay, I
bifocals.
I,
Blah
I can
blah blah.
I
But
can read.
anyway,
Go ahead.
the show is mainly I made it to uplift and inspire Black people,
Right.
and one of the things that I do a lot in my artwork is I make artwork that is specifically for me.
Hmm.
I make artwork that is very selfish, but
Mm.
this is the first time that I made work that was more personal and also um, not as selfish. I
Okay.
really made it to share with other people like me, that look
Interesting.
like me.
Okay.
Um,
Mm.
so it's about love. Actually, what I did was I created 6 levels of stimulation,
Mm.
eye stimulation, and brain stimulation. In my artist statement, I say there's 4, but there's actually 6. You have audio, so you hear my voice, which is a stimulation, and you have music, which we all love,
Hmm.
another
Mm.
stimulation. And then you have color. I'm using bright colors, which is another eye stimulation, lines, texture, and words. So
Mm.
there's a lot happening in the space. So the space is not meant for you to just go in and walk through and then you're done. It's
Right.
meant for you to go in and really look, because I kind of did some things too where I really like to fuck with people's eyes.
Mm.
I like to manipulate the space and make you
Mm.
see something that you might not think you see, but you do see. It's kind of hard to explain, but you kind of have to see it,
Hmm.
because the work is very layered.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
So it has a lot of depth. So it is meant to be admired in a sense.
That's what's up.
Oh
So
man.
and one thing too that I like to share, which is a lot of reason why I think you don't see a lot of us at art exhibits.
Hmm.
I think a lot of times we think that if we go, we have to buy, we
Hmm.
have to purchase something. And we
Mm.
feel bad if we can't buy nothing, then we don't want to go. But that's really not what an art show is about. The purchasing is the icing. The
Hmm.
show is the cake. So it's really about sharing our work. And if you
Mm-hmm.
buy it, it's nice, but that's not why we do it. That's not why I do it.
Right.
I do it because I enjoy it. Now,
Yeah.
when you buy it, that makes me happy, but it's not my driving force. So I think that's one reason why we don't go, and a lot of times we might not go because we don't realize it's free.
Hmm.
It's
Mm.
often free, and there's
Mm-hmm.
often free wine, and
Mm.
there's often free food.
Okay.
And but we don't, we usually don't advertise that part. But that's usually what's happening at an art show.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. Yep.
it's meant for socializing and networking and sharing. So if
Man.
you don't have money, you can come and it's okay. So yeah,
Hey, Wanda Deuce in the
There
chat
you
said
go.
"Dream Big" is the sign that's posted on the tree at Dollhouse Fashions. Very appropriate.
Mm.
Dollhouse Fashions is Wanda Lewis's daughter's clothing store, and she's so they. It sounds like they're loving that "Dream Big" sign that you got out there in front of it. That's
I
that's
have
great.
2 dream bigs. I don't know which one where that one is.
Is it be right on 24th across from Idle Vital?
Oh, 24th Street. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they
Yes.
got a lot of them
Yeah.
on 24th Street. I think the signs on 24th Street are protected. I don't think people take them. as easily as they
Oh,
take the other ones.
That's interesting.
hopefully not.
I think it's
Hopefully not.
because people are more watching and they don't take them, which I really appreciate.
It might be just the vibe of 24th Street too. You know what I'm saying?
And that could be because I've had signs on 24th Street that have been there since I started,
Right.
and that was what 6 year. What is it? 16.
Right.
Do the math.
That's what I think about a lot too. Is sometimes it's not. Some of the reasons why we don't show up too. It's just not in our. It's not in our normal taking in of art. Sometimes is not a thing that our community does a whole lot. A lot of times, anyway, to dwell in that kind of space. Definitely seems like a white thing to do. You know, you can go there and see a lot of white folks. They talking about it, but
it's not stuff we're used to doing.
Yeah, but when you finally get in a room, sometimes with a lot of folks from your community that are interpreting things a certain way, can talk about things a certain way, it usually makes all the difference. So I highly encourage people to come do that. And I also am a big fan of public art because you don't got to go nowhere to go see that. That's out there already in your purview.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm just showing people a few things of yours that's on your page, stuff that I really love.
Now the biggest public art piece that I've done was a collaboration with Anthony Pena, and that's through Art and Infrastructure and sponsored by Omaha by Design. It's off of 17th and Cummings, in between 16th and 17th. It's called the Peace Mural. It's a big hand that has a peace sign. It's got all this beautiful color behind it.
Yeah,
that's my biggest collaboration.
I love that.
So far,
you've been doing a lot of that area.
Super noticeable. If you drive down Cummings Street, you don't realize how gray it is until you see that mural.
Right.
Wow.
I'm glad you said that because I got to talk to you about that Nebraska Furniture Mart situation that you guys did. Speaking of everything looking gray except for this big pop of color, there was a time when you and a couple other artists went over and did a pop-up over at Nebraska Furniture Mart. And I was blown away when I walked in there and saw that because you don't realize how much the whole rest of the store and all the furniture looks gray.
It's gray.
You turn around and see that pop of color that you guys exhibited. They let you paint the walls yellow and have all this beautiful artwork. I think this was one of the pieces that was there at Nebraska Furniture Mart, wasn't it?
No, that one's too big.
The
stuff I had in Nebraska was fairly. I had a few that were that size.
I see.
Were fairly smaller, just because of the space and because of the price margins that are inside the space.
Right.
So I try to showcase work that matched their price.
Yeah.
How did that situation come about?
They actually approached us. It was me, Pamela Conyers Henson, and Celeste Butler. They approached us during the beginning of Black History Month. But when they approached us in a way where it was like, this is not going to be for Black History Month, because the three of us were very concerned about it not being just for Black History Month. We wanted to be showcased all year long, not just for Black History Month.
Right.
So when they approached us, that's how they approached us. But in hindsight, I think on the outside, it looked like it was for Black History Month because it happened during Black History Month. But it really wasn't. It extended a little bit past Black History Month. It was really about the celebration of Black culture that just happened to be during Black History Month. But that was like a trial. Hopefully they'll have us back.
That was my next question.
You know, the higher powers above have to. Not the person that organized it couldn't make that decision. Even though we were a huge success at a time when their sales were down.
Yeah.
We made a nice profit for their sales being down at that time, and for the fact that the salespeople couldn't really or didn't really how do I say this? Cater towards our showcase because
Right.
they weren't making a commission off of it.
Right. Right.
Mm.
So they had a couple events for us to be there, which was really cool. So yeah, it was an honor because we were also the first, not just the first artist featured, but the first Black artists that were featured locally.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
Nebraska Furniture Mart's been around for a long time.
I
So,
Yeah,
that says a
it's
lot of
national.
things on a lot of levels
right.
because we were the first in
I
2023.
I was able to speak to Celeste Butler about it, and she said something very important about how it's very important to see Black folks in those spaces.
It is.
Mhm.
There's so much to that. Not just the success of it, not just the vibe it brought, but also just the fact that you guys were there in the space, and people, and it was such a out of the ordinary thing. It wasn't a gallery. It wasn't
Mm-mm.
a art show that you went to. It wasn't just seeing your art around town. It was people going outside because of a different reason, going shopping. You know what I'm saying? And seeing you guys in
Mhm.
this space in the side of town that is no, there's just really no representation for us there.
Right.
It was a very important thing, and
Right.
I
And
love
I
that
think
it happened.
people were proud to see us too.
Oh yeah,
And
most
Oh
definitely.
yeah, I can imagine.
yeah,
Definitely that type of space.
yeah,
Yep.
that aspect was important.
There was somebody in the chat that said that I'm trying to find it now, but it's hard to find information on these shows going on happening. Who said that?
Yeah, I think getting the word out is a huge thing. Like right now,
Mhm.
I don't like social media right now. I'm really not feeling Instagram and Facebook at the moment. And
Mhm.
so it's been hard for me to market this show.
Hmm.
But to backtrack on that, I am having gallery hours this Saturday, tomorrow,
Hmm.
from 1-ish to 6-ish.
Okay.
And the gallery is located on 1818 Vinton. So that'll be a good time to come through where I'm there. Um, and I'm going to make pies. I'm
Ooh.
making sweet potato
Mm.
pies, and I'm also making some tomato pies. And if you've never had
Mm.
a tomato pie, imagine a lasagna as a pie, but better.
Okay.
It's really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you come through, that'll be a good time to come through with me there, from 1-ish to 6-ish. Don't come at 1 o'clock because I probably won't be there right at 1 o'clock. So, but
Artist time. Artist time.
yeah, and then after that, Fabric Lab is having a showcase with Abiola.
Mm.
He's a photographer.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep.
He's having a art mural showcase from
Really?
6 to 11 at Fabric Lab.
And what day is that?
That's the same day. So right
Okay.
after mine, you can check his out, and they're gonna have music, food, and art.
Wow.
So that
There
would
you
be
go.
another thing to check
Well,
out. And as far as how we find out things, we used to have the Go section. That's where I used to market all my shows. We don't have
mm,
the Go section in the World Herald no more.
mm.
I also
Mm.
used to market my stuff in the what's it called? What's the one that's stopping?
The Reader.
The
The
reader.
Reader. That used to be a place where we marketed our shows. The Reader just issued their last issue.
Oh,
Yep.
So radio. We don't all listen to radio. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
it's a challenge. It's a challenge to get the word out. I try to post on Instagram and Facebook,
Mhm.
but I'm not trying to live in that space like I was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
posting and then I'm gone. So if you have questions, you can always email me. My phone number is out there like nothing. So it's easy to get in contact with me.
Yeah.
So yeah. This particular show I had we had posters.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
Let's,
So
let's
yeah, getting the word out is hard.
let's talk about that for a second. 'Cause I did find that it was um now I lost it again. Oh, Malik Rogers said hard to find
Yep.
this info about events is in enough time to plan to attend. A lot seems like last minute low key marketing.
Mhm.
I really, we think about this all the time, and we're trying to help solve some of this all the time too, which is why it's
Mhm.
on our minds. Uh,
Yep.
but it is difficult, and it's difficult because of the way that media back in the day. Somebody reminded me, but back in the day, something would happen on TV, and there'd be three channels. Everybody in the whole country would see it at the same time, and so on. Now you got
Mm-hmm.
150 channels. Everything is so individualized that even your social media and everything on your smartphone is pointed to you in
You.
a way that is being built by you on a regular basis and built by the algorithm. And so there's no real mass information. It just is it depends on who you are and how you get your information and whether or not it comes across your thing. It just is goes to
Man.
show you this stuff is out here on social media, but does the algorithm send it to you? Or is it sending
Yeah.
you stuff that you think that it thinks you want to know about?
I
In
think my algorithm is
Broken.
trash. Yeah. Like,
Yeah. Well, a lot of people feel that way, so it is kind of tough to figure out those things.
Mm.
But I will say that that it is we kind of it's the difference between having something fed to us like it used to be, and having to seek something out. Go ahead.
there is one way to find out what's going on in Omaha.
Oh, okay.
There's a thing called the list.
Mm.
It's Bart Vargas
Yes, we have posted
has
some
it
of
on
our
his Facebook page.
right
He has a list of everything that's going on in Omaha, art
in the
related,
art world, right?
art
Mm.
and music.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we've posted
that's
that. We've posted that on our Friends of First Sky Omaha before.
yeah.
But again, you got to come to Friends of First Sky Omaha. You got to know Bart or whatever. It's out
Well,
there.
Yeah.
It's not out in the general public the way it is, unless you kind of know Bart or know the art scene. You know what I'm saying?
it's not, but I also think a lot of times it's word of mouth. Just like when we didn't have no phones, our
Totally.
mama still knew what happened when we got home. So I think a lot of it is word of mouth
Yeah.
too.
Well,
Oh
So
yeah. Can't
people
can't
do
be
have
word of
to
mouth.
share. Um, Artists need to share other artists. People that aren't artists need to share artists.
okay.
Um, I think sharing is actually the biggest promotion or
Right.
the biggest way to spread, especially in the climate that we have now.
I hear
Especially with
that.
social media being so social media. Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
Um,
We're gonna
I
jump
say
back
that.
into the chat real quick before we let you go. But Miss Erica Felton's in the chat right now. Says I really appreciate hearing your stance regarding being highlighted during Black History Month. That was
Mm.
important to her. Appreciate that. She also said I only hear about the show at Nebraska Furniture Mart on Facebook through friends and First Sky. General public would never know.
we
Mm-hmm.
had it was on TV, it was on the
Mhm.
news, it was on
Yeah.
every news channel.
Yeah, most of the time it's
Um,
on. Most of the time they're reviewing it. Most of the time they came down, interviewed you, and you see it after the fact, and that's
yeah,
what I find out happens there.
yeah.
Tony
But
Johnson is
they
asking. Tony Johnson is asking Omaha Star. Have you? Do you ever do?
my artist statement is actually in Omaha Star.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Um, but but sorry, I love Omaha Star, but they forgot to post the date and the time
Of the
and the
Ah.
show. Oh,
location.
okay.
Yeah, but the artist statement is in there.
Yeah.
Um, and Omaha Star is good. You just got to get her the information in time.
Yeah. And you got to
And I
read
think
it.
it's
We
like
got
a
to we got to
2 week
we got to get the
window.
readership up too. We got to let a whole lot of more
Yeah.
people need to get it and read it. So that's
Well, and
awesome.
Okay.
everybody should be subscribed to Omaha Star. I mean, it's only $40 a year,
Hmm.
and that's like nothing. We all should have an Omaha Star.
Well, I mean, if the Omaha Star works for you, then yeah. I mean, they also got to be putting stuff in the Omaha Star that is relevant to our lives here too. So I'd
Yeah.
like to see
Yeah,
that now that Terry Sanders has
I
kind of
think it's
changed some
hard.
ownership on it. I see her really moving in that direction and doing Omaha Star 2.0 and stuff like that, which is helping. So
Right,
most
I
definitely,
agree.
yeah.
I
Well,
agree.
well, we really appreciate you coming through, and again, the main reason why is because I love the fact that you're kind of making a cry out here for Black folks to come and see this show. It is for
Yeah.
Black folks to come and see
It
and
is. It
experience and
is.
enjoy.
It is for us.
Yeah,
It's for everybody, but I really made it specifically for us.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to be in the space.
Yeah,
Um,
Yep.
so yeah,
yeah,
so
Yeah.
come check it out tomorrow. I'll
yeah.
be there from 1-ish to 6-ish. Yeah, it's a
When,
cool
when
vibe. Um,
calling it an experience. So that's not an art show. It sounded more like an
it is an
experience, So
experience, and I actually think it's better to be in their space by yourself.
Hmm.
Because I don't want to. I'm not trying to hover. Um, if anybody comes into the space, I like for people to be in the space by themselves so they can experience.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times, I'm distracting them from seeing what's in front of them and
Right.
from listening. Because there's parts in the show where you hear like a bing bing bing, and after that bing you'll hear my voice.
Oh.
So there's times when you need to just kind of be quiet and take it in.
So there you go, y'all. Come through. Experience some joy. Experience some joy.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Miss Patty Talbot.
Thanks for having
Thank,
me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm gonna try to
thank
come
you.
through tomorrow and at least get down on some of that sweet potato pie. You shouldn't have said that. Now you're gonna get all
I
of them to show
know,
up.
and
Yeah.
they're gonna be good too. And then check out Fabric Lab too. Check out Abiola, his work at Fabric Lab.
Shout out to Brother
Great
Abiola.
artist,
Yeah.
great artist. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
You have a good day now.
Yes.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace. There you go.
Miss Erica Feld in the chat also co-signing the tomato pie. She said, I haven't had tomato pie since my mother made them last in the 90s. So good.
Okay. That's what's up.
Okay.
Appreciate that. We're gonna take a break and come on back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah, it's going down. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you Chad Chimers, Ghost listeners, radio listeners. Do not forget, check out Patty Talbert's artwork, man. She is a prolific artist all around town. We didn't even talk about all the places that you can see her art around town. That public art is strong. Public art is strong and a very important artist. So definitely check her out tomorrow. We'll be right back and do a little lightning round and then jump into the Haps. Get your Haps together. We really, really, really appreciate everybody that's here still with us. If you miss any parts of this show, you can go back and check it out on First Sky Omaha, the Facebook page, and YouTube. And then check out all the chats when you do. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Your dreams are your ticket out. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Chad Chimers, Ghost listeners, radio listeners. Thanks for everybody that's joining us. Really appreciate that, man. Pop says, as for the algorithms, a lot of it is how active you are on the platform. If you actively contact your followers, your messages goes out more of them.
Yep.
Finding out a little bit about the algorithm. So,
man, from
I'm kind of working in that field right now, man. Especially over at Benson Theater, I'm doing a lot of the marketing team and stuff is we're meeting about these things constantly, so we can try to get the word out about what's happening at the theater. And so yeah, you got to kind of understand and read up on what's going on with the algorithm, especially on Facebook, Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. And so yeah, we got to learn these things all the time and kind of play the game because we can say how much we hate social media, but we ain't doing nothing but looking at our phones at it all the time, every day.
Man, my phone does a great job of reminding me how much screen time I'm using. Me 4-5 hours. Like, man, that's been looking at the screen that long. And that's I feel like that's light. Some people up in the teens in the hours.
Most def. Let's go ahead and do a lightning round, man, before we get into the haps. Again, we're gonna
Yeah,
get some
man.
haps coming, so get your haps together. We'd like to know about. We already talked about something going on tomorrow with Miss Talbert. So
Yeah,
get your
man.
haps together, and we'll get to that in a minute. But what's up on the lightning round, buddy?
Yeah, before we get out of here, definitely want to let everyone know what's going on. This impeding or impending government shutdown. Yeah, definitely something we did not get to, but meant to get to on Monday or no Wednesday, excuse me. But yeah, something you should look out for, especially if you're on government assistance programs like WIC and possibly in many other programs and situations we could be finding ourselves in with this government shutdown. This reported by NPR. House Republicans are struggling to pass the spending measures needed to keep the federal government open past this Saturday. That's tomorrow, y'all. Pause on government services would have implications for everything from air travel to public health to national parks to food services. The Biden administration is warning that a shutdown will put vital nutrition assistance at risk for the nearly 7 million people who rely on the special supplemental SNAP special supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children, also known as WIC and SNAP. The programs offers, of course, healthy food, nutrition information, breastfeeding support, and other resources to low-income pregnant and breastfeeding women and children. But Paul, you mentioned that it's not just WIC and other government programs, but also some jobs might be in jeopardy, like air traffic control, things like
Yeah, I
that.
keep on getting wind of what this actually means. At first, you don't think nothing much about it unless you are working for the government, unless you have a government job, because that means your paycheck. But you don't really think too much all the time about how many jobs are really controlled by the government that way, like air traffic control. They said the military this time is going to have to be on active duty without getting paid. So they
Mm,
talk. So this is a problem with national security. They say also, even stuff like there's the prices of housing, the interest rates are changing
mm,
because of this. There's a lot that's going on there, and then of course the programs like SNAP, like you said, SNAP. Here's Miss Erica Phelps saying SNAP, WIC, and child care will not be affected if they resolve it within 30 days. Those programs are now funded in advance due to the Cheetos tantrum a few years ago. Talking about Trump.
man.
So they got 30 days, but if it shuts down Sunday, which is they say it very well might, then you
Mm-hmm.
got 30 days of being able to like try to figure that out. So there's a lot here that is at stake, a lot more, and I learn more every day about what jobs are going to go away. Coast Guard. Coast Guard jobs are, they had something in place for the last time the government shut down, but not this time. So they're just going to be on duty without getting paid. And then it made me wonder about how many chat chimers, how many ghost listeners are in. We're meeting a lot of cats in government now these days.
Man.
Are you guys scared about the jobs being affected? Like what's really going on? How is this really going to affect us? This is pretty huge, and it's pretty interesting when you see how huge it is and how many people it affects. You start thinking about like why are they messing around like this? And what
Man.
I heard this morning on the new listen to the news this morning, they had it. The reason why they're in some kind of locked up situation here is because they had a deal. Biden
Mm-hmm.
administration and the Republicans had a deal, and a small faction of the Republicans are reneging on the deal and holding things up. And so
Yep.
then you start getting mad about, okay, well now my aunt who works for the city or works for the state is getting ready to not get paid or whatever. So let us know. I want to put out there to the chat and to the ghost listeners who is going to be affected by this, and what is it that you have in place to help if it
That's a good
goes down
question.
on Sunday. There's a whole lot of people that are around us that are real nervous right now that I wasn't paying attention to because I don't work in government. So man, what's happening there? Von Chapman says this group of Republicans are crazy. Usually the shutdown is staved off at the last minute, but this time the threat seems different. Miss Erica Phil says when Cheeto shut down SNAP for 30 days, the children at the play school house made bags of beans, rice, tomatoes they grew, and a recipe card that we gave to the families. That's what's up.
That's dope. That's
Some of
dope.
the things
That's
that you
dope.
put in place for that. I like how the play school kids are laughing at you dancing too. That's funny.
Ah, yeah,
That's
that
sweet.
part. I saw that too. And apparently, according to this article, it's not just the babies that could be impacted, but also our elderly. According to some top brass and the FDA, the leaders of Meals on Wheels, actually, and the National Association of Nutrition and Aging Services program says another uh, shutdown of any length. Even Mr. Rockefeller talking about 30 days, but it seems like any length could severely impact our nation's most vulnerable older adults facing hunger and isolation. So,
Big time.
again, yeah, man, it seems wide ranging ripple effect could come from this. So yeah, things could be a lot tighter this time next week. We'll definitely keep our eyes on that situation. But keep it moving in this lightning round. Also, one thing to keep your eyes out for: possible student debt relief scams. Excuse me, as reported by the Nebraska Examiner. Those scams are on the rise, and what you need to know is that you should look out. Consumer protection advocates say that the Biden administration's student debt relief efforts, the subsequent halting of those policies by the court, which they still are hanging in limbo in court, and the restart of student loan payments, which is set to start, I believe, next month, have bred confusion that allow companies to take advantage of borrowers. Dan Ziebel, who's the vice president, chief counsel, and co-founder of Student Defense, which is a nonprofit that, focused on student rights, says there is a sort of this perfect storm out there that I think allowing these fraudsters to prey on people. Again, complaints about student debt relief scams are increasing as the date approaches for borrowers again to start repayment. So again, if you have been on a non-repayment plan for the last couple years as a part of the pandemic relief, those payments are set to start here pretty soon, and some people may be getting again fraudulent relief letters in the mail. So and definitely something to look out for. Zibble also said that there has been a lot of policy and legal news on student debt relief for borrowers to absorb in a couple of years. So there are some legitimate programs, and then of course that court case still hanging in the balance. So definitely a lot of confusion out there. I think if you have any questions or you do get any letters, you should still call your borrower or your loan, whoever's managing your student loan, very soon.
Yeah, definitely find out.
Yeah.
And tell everybody, because like I said, it's starting to hit. It hit close to home here. Michelle Troxler got a letter. I think that she's looked into it and everything, but it's not the
Mm-hmm.
one getting defrauded. But it just made me think, there's probably a lot of letters going out right now, and so definitely something to look at. So yeah, we just want to bring that to everybody's attention for sure. Be on the lookout and make sure you call the right people and all that good stuff.
Man, yeah. I still got loans out. I don't know about y'all, but I'm still working on mine. And that is something that, we to kind of wrap it in, we talk about housing a lot. That's definitely something that goes towards housing. Like that income to debt ratio, that's a part of your debt ratio, your student loans. And if that can be forgiven, that could definitely help with housing situations and a lot of other things going on out there. So definitely continue to keep our eyes on that situation. Again, if you receive a letter in the mail, feel free to let us know what that experience is like, who's that from, and again, if you do, definitely please follow up, call
Yeah.
through, check on
There
that.
you go. Before we get to the Haps, Pops has a very interesting comment on this whole government shutdown. He says, "Last week I was stunned to see Don Bacon on a national TV show saying that that if the government shuts down, it's the fault of 8 or 9 radical Republicans and not the fault of the Democrats." Which is
Mm,
pretty interesting to hear Don Bacon have to say that, even though he's been part of voting in ways that are kind of against the interest of the people sometimes. So very interesting stuff. And Von Chapman, we'll have to get to that question another time for sure. That's a deep one. Actually, I'm trying to seek out a few black folks that are voting Republican that are cool to speak up and
mm.
say that, and come on talk about it. So we'll get into it, but yeah, interesting stuff on this, man. Keep your eyes open on what's really going down here, in people playing with people's money. That's never a good
Man,
thing. Never a good
nah,
thing.
no, it's not. But just about 6 or 7 minutes left in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for the
Get it.
haps.
What's the house? What's happening? What's going down?
Got passed away. King.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for the haps. Let us know about haps that's happening this weekend that you think we need to be checking out. Some, and as a matter of fact, we have a few things that we definitely want to get you involved in. And first and foremost It is the Content Creators Camp. We just don't want to throw our
Hey,
thing out there first because that's what
pull
has to
up.
happen right. Pull on up tomorrow. Culture House is going down 10 o'clock. This will be week 8. I'll be your instructor, and we're going to be talking about a few things that have to do with social media and the algorithms and so on and so forth. Speaking of which, so yeah,
Man,
really appreciate everybody that has come to this. You can bring a friend, and if you haven't been yet, come on through. We got about 4 more classes left in this series, and we would love to see you there. Sometimes it's like a mini Chad Chimers kickback. So come on through and have some fun with us and learn a few things and learn how to be a citizen journalist. This is what this is really all about. If we can have the tools to be able to try to hold people accountable and tell our own stories,
man.
we got one side of the power already. And
It's emphasis on tell our own story. Kind of skipped over a comment from Sister Gwen Easter in the chat, but she says, "Paul, we definitely need citizen journalism.
mm,
The media misled the public when they interview me by making the public think I'm selling my home because of high taxes and high price housing issues. Not true.
mm,
They don't like that I was calling out Highlander, Mixed Developments, OPS, Omaha Housing Authority, and all their partnerships that are gentrifying our community and pushing out daycares in the community." So again, citizen journalism. Again, emphasis on telling your own story, doing it with some integrity, doing it with some truth, and not throwing angles on things.
absolutely. Also, Tony Johnson in the chat says, hard to tell story when media limits posts and facts. Yeah, I think you're probably
Mm,
referring to the fact that we have limited posts on Friends of First Sky Omaha. I'm sorry that you don't like that, but we definitely have to make that a situation where everybody can comment on different stories and things like that. And also, like I said in that chat, and when I said it in the chat in the first place, you absolutely can post on your own page. We would absolutely support that and push that out as well. We need a whole lot more voices doing it how you guys think it needs to be done. We definitely are have our ears open to that, and also have our support open to that as well. So I appreciate that very much. Gwen Easter in the chat says, I like Congressman Bacon because he is out about he is about the parties work together for the better of the people when needed. Okay, that's an
mm.
interesting perspective. I don't normally hear that very much. Anybody saying they like Congressman Bacon, so appreciate you putting that in the chat there. Oh, I'm sitting here talking with this down. Yeah, let me get back to this real quick. Culture House tomorrow, 10 o'clock. We're supposed to be in the Haps. 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, week 8. Show up there. We'll have a good time, most definitely. Thank you for everybody that's come so far, and we'll continue to do this for the next 4 weeks. It'll be a good time. Also, shout out to Kimra Snipes who put this in. I was looking for
Mm.
this post this here a little
Yeah.
earlier. This is where Justin Pierce is going to be a special guest. This is Summit 3 North Omaha 2024 election kickoff. This is happening on the 30th, which is tomorrow. Starting promptly at 11:30 is going to be at Mount Moriah Church Heritage Center, 2602 North 24th Street. Special guest Justin Pearson, Tennessee State Senator, will be in the house. One of the Justins in the house. We love that. So this is starting promptly at 11:30. Definitely check that out. Says snacks will be served. If you have any questions, you can call Preston Love Jr. 402
Mm.
812 3324. Please support this situation here. I'm definitely
Man,
yeah. This is something else. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get over there, but I would love to meet Mr. Pearson, Senator Pearson, for real.
maybe have some time after the content creators camp a little bit.
I hope so, man. I hope so. We'll see. We'll see. We'll definitely check it out. So definitely hit Preston Love up 402-812-3324 if you have any questions about this event here. But definitely support brother Senator Pearson coming into town. That's a great thing, man. I love to see that. We already
Man.
talked about Patty Talbert's show. Let me see what else is going on here that we need to talk about. Buddy, you have anything, by the way?
Well, I do. Somebody mentioned it earlier, reminding people that IB Black Girl is bringing out Angela Davis to the city. That's coming up very, very soon. So definitely mark your calendars on that. Dynamic Sister still putting in the work, still fighting the fight, man. Talking about reproductive justice. Again, reminder of the votes that have been recently handed down in Nebraska, limiting women's rights to having bodily autonomy, man, being able to make decisions for their own health and their own futures. So yeah, definitely tune in to that coming up very quickly, October 27th. Shout out to IB Black Girl, Angela Davis getting down.
That's right. Also, we can't forget about the Black Agenda Alliance Gang Education Prevention that's happening tomorrow, 5001 North 42nd at Street in Omaha. Free food, free admission, and we've been talking about this for a while and had the brothers on, Brother Kasim and Brother Sherman Wells from Untamed and Black Agenda Alliance. They are one in they say they are one in the same organization pretty much. So we
Man,
appreciate that, and they're the ones who are putting boots to the roots, really actually talking to the youth and really trying to get in between what happens in the gangs, so that they can really they got some history there, so they can relate to some of these kids and try to get them on the right topic here, the reality of gang life versus what children think. What is gang affiliation? How can it lead to
man,
trouble? Residual effects of being shot, all kinds of real subjects here that are addressing the topics that's really addressing what's going on in our neighborhoods, really what's happening, and addressing it in a way that's really direct. So definitely support that. Go check it out and bring your kids. They said bring your family. This is
mm-hmm.
tomorrow at 2:30 to 5001 North 42nd Street in Omaha. The Black Agenda Alliance, the Untamed Gang Education Prevention, Volume 1. So definitely check out for them. Really appreciate that. Appreciate those guys, man. Really, that's boost to the roots all day long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Looking at some more things here. Of course, later on to this evening, 2023 Ben Nelson Gala will be September 29th at the Capitol District Marriott in Omaha. I'm not sure if you are going to if you're in the Democratic Party and going to this, but if you are, let us know. We'd love to be able to speak to you about how it went, what went down. And of course, we can have Precious on maybe next week to talk about what went down at the gala tonight. But this is gala season in a big way. There's a Kaneko soiree that's happening tonight too, that we're definitely going to check out. And then of course we got to talk a little bit about the gala that's coming up here for the Benson Theater, the Bonalto
Yeah,
Ball.
man.
It's the 100th anniversary of the Benson Theater building, and this is our first big fundraiser, the inaugural benefit for the Benson Theater. We have a guest coming in from out of town from Kansas City who grew up in Benson, a Benson Bunny Cat. His name is Marcus Lewis, and he has a big band now. The Marcus
Yeah.
Lewis Big Band is going to come through with the brass and bougie show, and they're going to come and grace the stage at the Bonalto Ball. So I'm definitely going to put that out there. This is happening Saturday, November the 11th. Mark your calendars for that. And before that, that's happening over at the Benson Theater. They got Dracula 77 that's going to happen on stage, and this is something that's picking up a lot of speed too. A lot of people are interested in this show because it's we're coming up on Halloween. You know how people love that. But this is kind of a funny comic take on the Dracula situation. He's supposed to be set in 1977, so you can imagine the jokes that can come out of that. This is pretty interesting. It's in a collaboration with Bridget St. Bridget, which is a play company out here as well. We're collaborating with them on this, and tickets are going fast on this. This is a several-day run, so definitely check this out. Go to bensontheater.org and get your tickets for Dracula 77. It's supposed to be a good time as well.
Man,
Whew, man, talking
it's
fast.
a lot going
Talking
on.
fast.
But definitely catch that big band if you can, man. It's a dope show. I was able to catch them back in the Benson B-side days. So
I
yeah,
forgot about that. Yeah.
yeah, man,
I
yeah.
forgot you was there. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Come on now. Yeah. So some things going on. Also, don't forget the community happy hour. I don't know if you mentioned that the happy hour is in the front room coming up next Tuesday.
Yeah, every Tuesday, 3 to 7. And we got some things going on with this too. We're actually celebrating certain businesses that are coming into on the block over there on Benson. There's a couple things happening. There's a comic book shop that's opening up, a new bank. A
Dope.
couple Legends Comics. Legends Comics is about to drop. So we're gonna have them in the house. We're gonna be hosting different organizations and stuff like that from now on with these happy hours. So don't forget about that every Tuesday, 3 to 7. Thanks, buddy, for reminding me about that.
No
Community
doubt.
Network happy hours at the Benson Theater is really kind of picking up, and we're having some really good conversations. Really kind of melding North Omaha to Benson. Benson is North Omaha, but sometimes they
Yeah,
try
man.
to act like it's separate. But we're bringing that connection back here with the happy hour. So hopefully it'll come through there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't want to forget about the Midwest Chugona Fest is happening
Yes,
Saturday,
sir.
October 7th from 12 to 8. It's going down. I cannot wait. This is in Stinson Park. So much culture in Stinson Park is crazy, man. How many things go there. It's going like you're going all around the world in Omaha when you frequent the events over there at Stinson Park.
Man, just had
Just
Afrofest.
had Afrofest, went down. Now we got the Midwest Chingona Fest that's happening. So definitely put that on your calendars and check that out. Same day, the Michelada Fest is going down too. So if you like micheladas, in collaboration with the Midwest Chingona Fest, there's a lot going on that day. This is the 7th of October from 12 to 8 at Exarvin Village. So definitely check it out. And you definitely gonna see me down there, man. They're gonna have them
Man,
taco trucks out. So I gotta roll.
sounds like a good time. Sounds like
Also,
a good
I know
time.
we're running a little past, but we got too many things that we got to talk about here, and this is one of them. AfroCon is coming up also that day on the 7th, 9 to 7. For
Mm.
your speed, come on through. I'm gonna try to hit both. You know what I'm saying? Try to hit one a little earlier and the next one a little later. But man, you got to hit AfroCon. This is their third year, I believe, fourth year.
Might be like fourth or fifth. They've been doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 and it gets bigger every time. So we're putting this out there because it's coming up. If you haven't gotten your costumes thought out and put together by now, then you rushing to get them done by October
yeah.
2nd.
You behind?
Yeah, but
You behind.
you look into this. Check out AfroCon, and definitely look and see what's going on here. It gets bigger every time. Shout out to Jade who puts this on. It's going to be at Metropolitan Community College Fort Campus from 9 to 7. They have costume contests and all kinds of stuff going on. You can win prizes, but the biggest thing is just to get around a bunch of artists and intellectuals and what they call blurs, black
Man.
nerds
Mm-hmm.
that love sci-fi, that love to dress up, that love cosplay, that love all the things that other people love too. They don't really associate with black culture, but this is definitely black culture. As you can see, man, I've met so many like comic book writers and all kinds of people here at this place, and they did stuff in conjunction with the Illuminarium last year too. So we got to look at some 3D glasses, and just there's just so much going on with science, STEM, and fantasy in the world here at AfroCon. Definitely check them out
Oh yeah,
October 7th.
yeah. It's an experience, y'all. Definitely check it out. Also, next week it seems like they got Tower Power coming.
Oh,
Holland Performing Arts.
oh yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. I'm glad you reminded me about that. I'm definitely gonna have to go see Tower of Power. I can't find the flyer right now, but that's what's up, man. Steelhouse. No,
Holland. It's a Holland.
Holland. Okay, yeah, the Holland. Yeah, I'll find that date, man. I used to have it in here. I don't know what happened to it, but I'll get that date and put that in Friends of Sky Omaha. If we still the funk is happening still with Tower Power.
Man,
You definitely got to come check it out. Tower Power was my first concert I remember going to.
really?
Yes, yes. I remember it was an outside park type of area. I remember being in the front row and the whole horn section was in front of me. And that's one of
Mm.
my first concert memories. So that's what's up. Mr. Erica Phil says I can't.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle, man. Definitely got to check it out. Also heard Gladys Knight is coming to town too. So
Okay.
legends this year for real.
Yeah. Man, I already again got down with George and the crew. But yeah, next Friday, Tower of Power, 8:30 at Holland.
Yep, yep.
I got one last one
Mhm.
before we get out of here too. Let me see. I just actually oh yeah. Big shout out to the Union for Contemporary Art. It looks like they have an open house for the Shirley Tyree Theater.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what's up. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, man, they've been building it, been working on it. I kind of, got a glimpse of the construction while I was in town over the summer and last couple weeks. But yeah, it looks like they're finally getting closer to the opening. Shirley Tyree Theater open house going down Saturday, October 14th at noon. Again, that's Saturday, October 14th at noon at the Union for Contemporary Art. So yeah, big shout out to the Tyree family, Shirley Tyree Theater.
Man, it's legendary. Last but not least, don't forget we're still on the lookout from Brother Blake. Levi Blake is still missing. He's been missing since August 17th. And there's some news coming up, some breaking news coming up on this case that
Yeah,
we'll be sharing with you Monday. I'm quite sure.
actually. No, actually, there's a update for
Oh,
today.
okay.
Yeah, one of the family members, the son of Brother Levi Blake, will be on the news later on today. Let me see. Um, he will be on Channel 7 tonight. So yes, again, Terry, who is again the son of Levi Blake, will be on the Channel 7 tonight. for an interview. Yeah, there's a lot of information coming out. Big shout out to Brother Sherman Wells, who again is not part of the family, but he might as well be, man. He's putting in the work and is not taking no for an answer as far as this. And unfortunately, there has been some no's in this case. So yeah, man, it's more information gonna come out on this very soon. So y'all look out for this, and big shout out for everyone who has helped and donated.
Yeah. I think last time we put the code out for the donation, they said the donation was closed now. So I think until we get word that they'll open something back up, then we'll just thank everybody who helped so far. Appreciate that very much. But we can continue to help by keeping our eyes peeled and looking out and keeping up on this case, man. And there's going to be some situations here we're going to have to apply a little pressure just as a community on the situation with this brother. So what breaking news is coming through. We're hearing it all the time. We're talking to people in the family and so on and so forth. This is closely related to Buddi. This is Buddi's family we're talking about here. So we're hearing some things, and we're going to bring it to you on Monday for sure once we get some things straight and can talk to the people that we need to talk to. But please, in the meantime, be on the lookout for Brother Blake, and we'll bring you some more news on that soon for sure.
Yep. So with that,
got some words for the people?
Man, big shout out to all the chat chimers, everybody who's tuned in. Even if you're not a chat chimer, you're a ghost listener, and you can hear my voice. We appreciate you for tuning in, supporting what we do here at First Sky Omaha in the morning, trying to spread, the information, man, trying to have a communication, trying to figure things out together, get down to the bottom of it, and really, push forward. Hopefully we're making an impact. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you're walking away, a little better than you came, man. So we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you as always. Hopefully we will continue to receive your support, and catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. In the meantime, in between time, Paul B.
Yep.
Take it away.
Right on, 11 minutes after 9. If you believe in the concept of time, we apologize for running past our agreed time, but we thank you for hanging with us as we did, so that we can try to get some of this information out on what's going on and what it is that we can check out. Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow at the Content Creators Camp at the Culture House at 10 o'clock. It's going to be a good session, and good friends and fam that's going to be there, so appreciate that very much. I also appreciate and thank the Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. I thank our elders for allowing us to speak before them, and also our elders for giving us so many props and so much support. Really appreciate that, especially you, Pops. Appreciate you very much. And I also want to thank the chat chimers for allowing us to speak with you. You guys got a lot to say, a lot of stuff going on. Really appreciate everybody that joins in on the chat and that goes with our vibe and does the things the way that we're trying to do it, so that we can try to implement our ideas for communication, so we can all get on the same page and bring out some of the things that we think are necessary to bring out, and do it in the style that we do it. We appreciate everybody that's doing that. And we also really appreciate the ghost listeners as well. I keep running into more of them around town that checks us out. And they always gives us props and says, we're doing some good work here too. A lot of times they look at what our show is like a civics lesson almost, like we're, you know what I'm saying? Like we're showing what's going on in local government and so on and so forth. So
actually, earlier in the chat, we just want to acknowledge Amy Holmes. Sister Amy Holmes gave us a pretty nice shout out.
Really did.
Man, I'm trying to. Did you see that? I'm trying to find it.
I did. She was saying that she appreciates what we do, and that tuning in to the show is almost like
here it is.
Going to a meeting. Go ahead.
She says this show is feeling more and more like a necessary staff meeting you don't want to miss. I love it. So yeah, big shout out to Amy Holmes. Definitely tap in with the services over at Heart Ministry Center. Yeah. If they're still looking out for people, if you've been turned down for SNAP because of a felony on your record, they want to hear your story. So they might be able to, have some services for you. Actually, there is a $50 gift card, I believe, for those who are interested in that. So yeah, tap in Heart Ministry Center.
Contact Amy Holmes at 402-915-3791. Definitely. If you have been turned down for SNAP because of the government shutdown, I don't know what's going to happen here with this. So we'll
man, that part. Hey, we'll find out next week. Yep. In the meantime, between time, take care of yourselves this weekend. As Ms. Erica Feld always says, drink water. And
Yep. Peace. Have a good one.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red. crossroad.